I just think it's really disgusting how this institution protects itself, because y'all just half of them voted to send this stuff to House Ethics, where you know it's going to die. We know that members of Congress are using taxpayer dollars to pay off sexual harassment.
America, you just watched Congress vote 357 to 65 to kill a resolution that would have exposed which members used taxpayer money to cover up sexual harassment. That's both parties protecting the swamp.
We just had a member of Congress literally sexually harass a woman that then lit herself on fire, and you guys all protected him. You guys all protected him. My own side, your side, but just, I'm not going to sit here and play games. I think it's a complete fraud. I think that's why the American people hate us. I think the midterms are coming up, and everyone should go on record for this. And I hope that members are exposed for this. I hope it goes back, I think, to the 70s.
But here's what they don't want you to know. While they're voting to hide records, we've already got an official one receipt.
Regina Santos Aviles was a staff member of Tony Gonzalez. She died last fall when she took her own life by setting herself on fire.
I made a mistake, and I had a lapse in judgment.
What is up, guys? Tyson DeLaCruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Tony Gonzalez officially became the poster child for exactly why Congress wants to keep these settlements a secret here. His case shows the entire playbook. We're talking about the affair, we're talking about the payments, the cover-up structure, and what happens when it all goes public.
According to the forensic extraction of the cell phone messages, they belong to Regina Aviles Gonzalez and a contact named TG. According to Adrian Aviles, who is the staffer's widower, and his attorney, TG is Tony Gonzalez. The messages were sent between 12:15 and 12:54 a.m. In one message, TG writes, quote, "Then send me a sexy pic." Later, TG asks, quote, "Favorite position?" and replies with something we cannot share on TV. Aviles Santos then replies, quote, "Never," and later writes, "This is too far, Tony."
That is your elected representative sending "send me a sexy pic" text to his employee at 12:15 in the morning. And when she pushes back saying, "Tony, this has gone too far," watch what the system does to protect him.
Regina Santos Aviles got a raise the same year that alleged affair began. Hallie Mecklin at the local Uvalde paper conducted an analysis of Santos Aviles' base salary and total income between 2022, when she started in the office, and 2025, the year she died by suicide, lighting herself on fire in her backyard. In 2024, the year that the affair was allegedly going on, Santos Aviles' salary jumped up by $14,000, and she also received a $3,200 bonus. During that time, the newspaper says that 3 other people on Gonzalez's payroll, who also served as regional district directors, did not receive similar raises.
Notice that pattern: $14,000 raise plus $3,200 bonus in 2024, the year of this particular affair. Then the moment her husband finds out in May, the money stops completely. That, my friends, is not a coincidence. That is a paper trail showing exactly how the system works. 3 other people on Gonzalez's staff had the same job title. No raise, just Regina, obviously, because she was sleeping with him. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with the story, let me tell you what happened to Regina, because this is where the story gets dark.
New details about the final moments of Regina Santos Aviles, a regional district director for Congressman Tony Gonzalez, who died by suicide in September. Police reports confirming the medical examiner's ruling. Santos Aviles set herself on fire. The first officer on scene spoke with her as she lay burned on the front porch. She told him she'd learned her husband was cheating with her best friend and that she'd poured gasoline on herself and ignited it. Records show she may have called 911, telling dispatchers, quote, "I don't want to die."
Her last words to 911, "I don't want to die." And Tony Gonzalez, he's still in Congress, still collecting his $174,000 salary, still voting on legislation.
Speaker Mike Johnson and House Republican leadership are now calling on Texas Republican Congressman Tony Gonzalez to withdraw from his upcoming primary runoff.
Guys, did you catch that? Republican leadership didn't demand that he resign. They just asked him to drop out of the primary.
We are following breaking news right now into our newsroom. Congressman Tony Gonzalez will not be seeking re-election.
So a woman is dead and Gonzalez stays in power because the math works, apparently.
I made a mistake, and I had a lapse in judgment, and there was a lack of faith. And I take full responsibility for those actions. Since then, I've reconciled with my wife, Angel. I've asked God to forgive me, which he has, and my faith is as strong as ever. When you make mistakes like this, you know, it's never easy. It humbles you, but it's important to kind of work through it all. You know, I look forward to the ethics committee starting an investigation.
Translation here. I know they're going to bury this just like they bury everything else. And you know what? He's right. Now, let me connect the dots between the Tony Gonzalez situation and the bigger system that Congress has built to protect itself. Congress has paid out over $22 million in taxpayer-funded settlements for workplace misconduct, sexual harassment, discrimination, retaliation, the whole criminal playbook here.
This is happening right here in our nation's capital, and we should be held to the highest standards. And to every member who voted to send this to committee, where you know this was sent to die on the House floor just moments ago, I hope you have a darn good reason to tell your constituents why you are not going to stand up for the victims. And I'm glad that we are doing something about it here in the Oversight Committee. I'm glad that this motion was made here so we actually have another chance at transparency. But again, these are your tax dollars. These are your tax dollars that were used to silence victims. They have been settled with victims. And to the members who voted against this, go home and tell your daughters what you did today.
That's the challenge that every single member who voted 357 to 65 to hide these particular records. Here's how the scam works. Victim files a complaint. Congress forces them through mandatory counseling and mediation designed to wear them down. Eventually, they settle with your money, my money, taxpayer money. Then they sign an NDA that legally gags them forever. And the PDF keeps their job, keeps their power, keeps collecting taxpayer salary.
The party, Democrats and Republicans are, I think, whipping to refer it to committee, which means they're going to protect each other once again. It will fail, and we won't get accountability or transparency. The American people are held to one standard, and Congress is held wholly to another. And you're going to watch men in Congress, Republicans and Democrats this afternoon, hide behind the veil of let the process play out, and it's going to get referred to committee and will not see the light of day. And it never will see the light of day because the process is broken. And that's why we're doing this. Like, do we care about women or do we not? And if this gets referred to the committee, then every woman, basically, Congress will have just spit in your face and said, you don't matter. You are a second-class citizen.
Both parties are wiping votes to protect each other. This isn't Democrat versus Republican. This is the swamp versus you versus me. They all need the protection system because they never know. They never know when they might need themselves. Now let's talk about AOC Alexandria Acosta, because this is where the hypocrisy gets super thick.
This administration, the Trump administration, Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, Pam Bondi are engaged in one of the greatest cover-ups that we have seen when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein and protection of people that are in power and close to power. It is horrifying. My thoughts are with the victims.
Listen to her. My thoughts are with the victims. When it's about Trump, she's demanding transparency, calling it horrifying, insisting on accountability. But when it comes time to vote on releasing congressional harassment records, when it's her own colleagues using taxpayer money to silence victims, she voted with the 357 people to kill transparency because victims only matter to AOC when she can use them as a political weapon or political theater. But when the PDFs are sitting next to her in the congressional hearings, in the congressional seats, suddenly these people got nothing to say.
I am supportive of releasing the Congressional hush money slush fund. There's been tens of millions of dollars that have been paid out over the years here in Congress to keep Hill staffers quiet about alleged sexual misconduct and other forms of mistreatment in the office. So I would love to see every congressman who's ever had a pay a settlement to a staffer. And I'm certainly supportive of Nancy Mace's resolution.
Guys, you see the pattern here? They'll demand every document related to Epstein and Trump. They'll subpoena, they'll investigate, they'll hold primary hearings. But when it comes to their own behavior, when it's congressional PDFs using your money to silence the victims, let's refer it to a committee where it absolutely dies. Let me be crystal clear about where I stand with this, because this is where my patience kind of runs thin about situations like this. Tax dollars should not be used for hush money. Period. End of story. If you screw up, if you harass somebody and you couldn't keep your hands off somebody, use your own money to make it go away. Better yet, don't put yourself in a position like that in the first place. You get it? I get it. We're not all built the same. Some people have self-control issues. Some people think their power makes them untouchable. But here's the thing. When you screw up, you pay for it, not the American taxpayer.
San Antonio attorney Bobby Barrera is now considering a libel lawsuit against Gonzales.
Tony Gonzalez is still fighting, still threatening lawsuits against the widower who exposed him, still collecting a government paycheck. And Regina, she's dead. Her son's going to grow up without a mother. But Gonzalez gets to stay in power because the system is designed to protect him.
Members of Congress are using taxpayer dollars to pay off sexual harassment. We just had a member of Congress literally sexually harass a woman that then lit herself on fire, and you guys all protected him. Yep. You guys all protected him. My own side, your side. And so if you guys want to talk about victims, if you want to go out and virtue signal, and then you guys are going to kill her stuff on the floor and then try to pass it, yeah, of course, we should subpoena all of this stuff. But just, I'm not going to sit here and play games. I think it's a complete fraud. I think that's why the American people hate us. I think the midterms are coming up, and everyone should go on record for this. And I hope that members are exposed for this. I hope it goes back, I think, to the 70s.
She wants the records going back from the 1970s. Think about that. 50 years of taxpayer-funded cover-ups, 50 years of victim silence, 50 years of PDFs protected, and $22+ million. Who knows what the actual number is? America, Tony Gonzalez sent explicit text to his employee, gave her raises during an affair, cut her off when she got caught, and she ended up dead in her backyard. He still has a job, still voting on your behalf, still protected by leadership, because they need his vote more than they care about the victim. AOC demands Epstein transparency while voting to hide congressional harassment records. 357 members voted to protect the system because every single one of them absolutely knows they might need that $22 million slush fund someday. But here's the new truth. That House vote wasn't about protecting victims' privacy. It was about protecting PDF's careers. Every member who voted to hide those records just told you, and while you're working overtime to make ends meet, they're using your money to cover up their scandals. The system isn't broken. It's working exactly as designed for them, not you. Let me know what you think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.